Welcome to the Revolutionary Communities podcast. If you're an impact-driven company ready to boost sales and loyalty by valuing people, then you're in the right place. My name is Maruxa Murphy, your guide to building communities that resonate with your passion, vision, and purpose. Every week, I bring you game-changing strategies and revolutionary industry leaders who are blazing the trail with innovative, inspiring, and profitable communities. Having personally cultivated over 200 profitable communities just like these that generate 6 to 8 figures in additional revenue, I'll give you insights into creating unique and heart-centered community experiences. Today's episode, well, it's something that might just change your life. So, settle in, enjoy, and let's dive into making our world a better place, one community at a time. Hello. Maruxa Murphy is here again to be of support to you in the midst of creating your revolutionary community. I'm so excited to be here with you. Today we're really diving into episode 3. We're going to be talking specifically about why are we and how are we able to become catalysts for affecting massive change in culture on a human and generational scale. Okay, that's like huge, right? Huge topic. So, if you're new to me, my name is Maruxa Murphy, and I am the community architect for over 200 communities over the last 23 years, where I've had my hands in the dirt in designing experiences and communities where people in those communities feel like they have been completely changed and transformed. It's also been working specifically with companies that have seen a shift to the tune of anywhere from 6 figures for the smaller companies that we've worked with to 7, 8, and 9-figure impact. And so for us, my vision is to really work and align with those of us who are revolutionary change makers, for those of us who are ready to shift our industries because of something that we're really convicted by and know that if this shifts, the whole world starts to change and shift. So today's episode is really looking at how do we become those catalysts for creating massive change in the culture of our industry, in the culture of humankind? How do we start to shift generations? It's a big thing, and I'm thrilled to bring it to you today. If someone asked me, what am I about? Maruxa, what are you about? I always say, I'm here to bring humanity back to the human race. I know it's huge. And it's like, wait, what? I just meant and oftentimes they're just meaning what do you do for a living? But the truth is, what I do for a living and what we're here to do with creating revolutions is to create and affect massive shift and change in a way that, in my case, in the way in which the people I love working with are those who are ready to bring humanity back to the human race. Our world today is just fraught with so much pain. We're falling apart at the seams with division. We are finding our way to drugs, alcohol, to so many different addictions, to isolation, depression, anxiety. Suicide rates are higher because we're feeling alone, we're feeling isolated. We feel like we can't be heard or seen. And that is a breakdown of humanity, in my opinion. What I believe is that as a world, if we learn what it takes to truly feel and know how to show up for our conversation, for our lives, we could actually make some massive impact in this world. It is a gift to be able to do that, by the way. For those of us who are visionaries, we often think that our visions are just how we operate. But the truth of the matter is, us as visionaries are a rare breed. There's a lot of people out there that have good ideas, but a visionary is somebody that wants to choose to bring that vision into reality. You earn the title of visionary by choosing to create vision and bring it to reality. And so my invitation is to imagine, how do we take that vision and bring it to reality and really begin to affect change and start to really shift and quicken the timeline by learning how to elevate humanity back to the human race. How do we learn how to treat people that we serve in our companies, that we serve on our teams, with dignity, with honor, with love, with respect, in such a way that it becomes the culture shift? This is what we as consumers begin to just naturally believe is possible, because we feel it from the companies that are serving us and supporting us. And in turn, we want to show up in that way as well. I believe that there is a world where that is possible, and it starts with those of us who are entrepreneurs, who are visionaries, who are leaders, that are saying yes to the opportunity to create and affect change for the better. So for me, I believe this is possible. And what I imagine, truthfully, is that as leaders in multiple different industries start coming together, that same ethos of love, same ethos of courage, and letting that love and courage and integrity lean into adventure, we create some really cool stuff. We create things that literally no one else has ever created before, because we're coming at it from our own unique perspectives. And I'm so excited to see a world where that is the norm, and that our customers, our consumers, are able to lean in alongside us and get excited about it and want to patron our companies even more, because we're holding them to a standard where we're inviting them into their own love for themselves and how they show up for others, their own ability to be courageous and do the things that can feel hard at times, and do the things that can feel really, really powerful and empowering, and then lean in the fullness of their conviction and integrity to be able to go forward and live a life of adventure. And a pretty good one at that. So that is really something that speaks to my heart, and it's something that I can't wait for us to dive even further in. And you'll be able to meet over the next few episodes, meet companies that are doing this. How are they doing this? We'll talk to them. We'll really dive in. But as you're beginning to think about your own reason for building community, if you've not listened to episodes 1 and 2, I highly encourage you to listen into them, start answering the questions, start really thinking about them, because the truth of the matter is I designed them so that you're really able to begin to think these questions through. Because when we're building community, and most people when they're talking about community, they're not asking you these questions. So my hope is that you're inviting yourself to answer these questions so that you can create meaningful community in your company that also is, not just a people-centric only, but it's also one that creates profitability for you, but from a place of fun and play, right? In a way that feels really alive and aligned with your company and your brand. One of the things I also want to talk about today is what I call the sacred four. When we're beginning to think through how we treat people with dignity, honor, love, and respect, which every single community that I choose to design, choose to be a part of, has to come from that place. It has to. It's just like a prerequisite that we're seeing that you are choosing to come to your community with dignity for them, for your teams, with love and honor and respect for them. And in doing that, there's some ways in which you can practically start to show that through. And I want you to think about for a minute here, like some of the communities that you're a part of. right? Just take some time right now and just imagine, close your eyes if you need to, or if you're driving, don't close your eyes, but just start imagining some of the communities that you're a part of, that you've said yes to joining, and that you really feel like you can be yourself in, right? Maybe it's a community that's like in your personal life, maybe it's something in your business life, maybe it's something in your spiritual life. I hope and pray you've had an experience of a community where you felt like fully alive. And if you haven't, I'm going to walk you through what I call the sacred four. And let's see if we can imagine what this community could feel like. And if you have felt it before, I want you to start pinpointing experiences where you felt the sacred four, because that's going to really show you how that then aligns in to the person that you are, and to the person, not just who you are, but how you hold space. Some examples of how you hold space for people where they don't just feel like they're a part of a community, but they feel like there's a sense of belonging. The thing is the secret behind the community sauce is that we really want to design experiences of belonging, because belonging really is the place where where when we land there, we don't want to leave. It's really hard to leave because we would love being a part of the experience that's there. And we can actually do that without any sense of shame, without any sense of fear mongering, without any forms of hate. We could be there because we feel alive and aligned in the work. So what is the sacred four? The sacred four really is the place, and as I mentioned, it's the place where belonging exists, and it allows us to create spaces of belonging. So the first of the sacred four is is the tenet of safe or safer. When I was building the erotic blueprints community, this is a community that's led by Ian Ferguson and Jaya Ma, and they have a beautiful community of at this point over 1 million people. And in this community, they recognize that when we were going through this process of the Sacred Four, we used to always say just creating a safe community. Well, they actually supported me in recognizing it. We can never um, guarantee. We can never guarantee safety. But what we can do is we can intentionally create safer spaces. So I love that. Oof, it felt so good when they said that I've adopted that in. And when we think about safer spaces, it's everything from helping people know that they belong here, and that when they're here, what's happening here is based on what they are expecting to have happen here. So expectations. So when we're thinking about safer spaces as part of the Sacred Four, we're thinking about what are the expectations of each member to uphold, so that this is a container that feels really safe for people to be themselves, right? So in some communities, it could be what's said here stays here. Others, it could be just the fact that there's a privacy. One of the main factors would be that there's a privacy wall, that you're in this closed group. There's an expectation that what's not just only said here stays here, but we don't actually share information outward from this community. Another way of building safety is really helping people know, who belongs in this community and who doesn't, right? Not every community needs to be 100% inclusive. We want to create a community that is just for the people that are meant to be in that group, right? So when we have that and we're creating that, and when we're leaning into our expectations, if we say we're going to start at 6 p.m., we start at 6 p.m. If we say we're going to wear blue shirts every Tuesday, when we wear blue shirts every Tuesday, it builds that trust, right, in that community. So you want to make sure you're creating that space to create that more the sense of safety. Okay. The next of the Sacred Four is what we call seen, 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 helping people be seen. So simple strategies in helping people be seen is, one, calling them by their name, knowing them by name, inviting them to be known by name, If there's a larger community or it's a newer community, have name tags so people can remember each other's names. Create a directory with everyone's faces so that people can get to know each other and put a name to a face. Helping them be seen when they have a win, right? Celebrating, having public celebrations of those wins, having also opportunities where we can cry with each other if that feels important in your community. When someone's having a challenge, maybe we can call out and acknowledge that they're having a challenge, or they're having something happen in their personal life that feels really important, and we want to make sure that they know how much we acknowledge them and how much we care about them, right? So identifying the wins, identifying the challenges, identifying their names are some very simple ways that we can create seenness. The third of the sacred four is feeling heard. So similar to feeling seen by being known in the room, feeling heard is making sure that their voices are also known in the room. So these are things, some things you can do is, one, if they have feedback, they want to improve the experience even more, do you have opportunities for them to give that feedback, to be able to share what's on their heart and how they can help improve the experience that's been created? Another way of feeling heard is asking them for their thoughts on something. Maybe you're wanting to add some new features to your program, or you're interested in building a new program from scratch. Instead of just going at it into your cave and starting to build, why don't you invite them along the journey, right? So one example that I absolutely love is Yelp reviewers. So they have an entire super reviewers group. And in that group, they have those super reviewers giving feedback to new product rollouts all the time. In fact, it's because of their feedback and feeling heard that they want to stay connected into this super reviewers group, right? And they want to give more to Yelp. They want to review more because they know that they have ownership, but through their voice, by giving that feedback to improve the product even more. So when you're creating that space for heardness, for people feeling heard in your community, you're also inviting them to have ownership of what shows up. Now, you're not going to necessarily take every single piece of feedback and apply it, but even them knowing that they have a voice in helping create and affect change is incredibly powerful. And I highly encourage you to design your community with that in mind. The fourth of the sacred four is feeling honored and respected. You see, when two or more people are gathered, there is diversity. And I love it. I love it so much. And we could all look the same. We could all have the same shade of skin tone. It doesn't matter. There's still diversity when two or more of us are together, because we might have different thoughts. We might have different life experiences. We might have different belief systems. And so we want to definitely honor and respect one another in the room in the midst of our diversity and because of our diversity. So when we're really in this space together, how do we honor and respect one another? Now, we honor and respect one another by hearing each other's perspectives. It doesn't mean we have to 100% agree, but can we be civil? Can we be kind? Can we be respectful? Can we be loving towards another person? And I invite us to be coming from a place in our communities of open-mindedness. Maybe they're here to teach us something that we haven't learned yet in our own life. Maybe there's opportunity to expand who we are simply because they're in the room with us. So as we begin to design our communities with intentionality, think about what are the ways in which you can start to really fine-tune the conversations in the community, fine-tune the way in which you're holding that level of safety for others, fine-tune the ways in which you're designing heardness and seenness for others in the community. And what you're probably going to find as you continue to be in this conversation with me and hear others doing this, we're going to find that there is a beautiful gift that you're giving your members, and that is creating that sense that they belong here, that they can be family, that you want them to be a part of the family, And it's not just about learning a technique or understanding a software or understanding, a specific way of showing up in the world or whatever it is that you're teaching or doing or creating. It also is creating a place where they can actually just be. And their transformation journey, their way of showing up in the world is okay. So I want to invite us into thinking that through even further at this point, because it's incredibly powerful. And I'm going to pause this episode for now, because I know this is getting long. In the next episode, we're going to really dive into the conversation around how to start your own community. I know we've been talking a little bit like more philosophical, but how do you actually do this? How do you do this well? So we're going to dive into what I call the transformed community paradigm and think through what it looks like to build a community in the right way, starting right now. I can't wait to share with you how this shows up and how we take these beautiful communities that we're designing and turn them into revolutionary communities. I'll see you in the next episode. Looking forward to it. Bye for now. And that wraps up another enlightening episode of the Revolutionary Communities podcast. Remember, it's not just about building communities. It's about sparking movements and echoing change across the globe. I'm Maruxa Murphy, reminding you that every voice matters, every story is significant, and your vision can truly make the world a better place. If today's insights resonated with you, consider taking a bold step and implementing one idea into your community. Let us know about it by going to revolutionarycommunities.com/podcast. And there you'll be able to let us know what is sparking for you by joining our own Revolutionary Communities community. Together, we are stronger, and with unity, we can be the revolution. Until next time, keep leading with your heart, stay inspired, and never underestimate the power of genuine connection.